Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Sorry for the couple of weeks break that I've had. I've not been incredibly well, not because of that, not massively motivated to make some videos, but I have been out shooting with cameras to bring you some different content. As the title says in this one is about zoo photography with mirrorless cameras. Now, before we get into this video, I've talked about zoo photography before on the offshoots of other videos, and comments have been saying the cameras aren't designed to shoot through wire and aren't designed to shoot through glass. That's fine, but they are designed to shoot past objects like leaves and other branches and stuff like that to focus on something behind, especially when you're using animal tracking. So it is a relevant discussion, and as I would say probably at least 80% of the people who buy these cameras to shoot wildlife are not going to be shooting 100% at wildlife. They're going to be shooting at zoos, through glass, through wire. So it's an incredibly relevant conversation to have about these cameras and about some of the flaws that there are with them and some of the things that you can do to negate those flaws and try and work your complete best around the systems and try and use the systems to the max. So let's look at some of the images I've got lined up here that show you what happens when the focusing isn't set up properly, what happens if you shoot through glass wrong, and then some of the images you can get through wire, through glass, and we'll go from there. So let's look at those images now, and then we'll head into at the end of that. So the first image here is a pretty common one you're going to get being at a zoo, is your autofocus goes, yeah, you want to take a photo of the wire. And as you can see through the background of that wire, you can see the three cubs, lion cubs from London Zoo, playing the outlines of them there. And the camera is just like, nope, aren't the wires. So to get around that, I yanked on the focus ring on the lens to bring the cubs into focus. Then you spot track focus. Then you used animal AI tracking, and it caught them fine and got some photos. But this is going to be the most common photo you're probably going to take shooting through wire. Now the second photo here I put in because it shows you even if you get through the wire, you're still going to have effects of the wire potentially if you're not shooting at a low enough f-stop. So this was at 5.6 and you're gaining still the effects of the wire in the background here. If I shot this at 2.8, I wouldn't have that wire there, but most people don't have long reach 2.8 lenses to hand, so it's a very useful image to sort of show that this is sort of some things you're going to have to accept in your imagery, is bits on the background, and you can try your best to blur it out and do whatever you can with it, but it's still going to be ingrained in there in your photo. Now image 3, we're going to start looking at glass here. So this is talking about glare and sort of seeing here, so you've got a couple of spider monkeys here, one of them looking straight at you. So the eye tracking has worked absolutely fantastically. It's got it in focus there, and to my right there is a tree, and as you can see in the middle of the photo going over the ones on the right's face is a green line. Now with these animals being black, you could potentially mask that area there and take out the green, and it actually probably wouldn't look too bad, but you're not always going to be that lucky. So it is worth looking at your surroundings before you take a photo and seeing where the best place to stand is, because wherever I stood, that monkey on the left was going to look at me, so it didn't matter if I stood maybe a little bit to the right and blocked out the tree so you wouldn't have the reflection there. But you live and learn, and you will get photos like this shooting through glass too. Now this one here is also taken through glass. Again, animal eye tracking has worked absolutely fine on the R6 here and picked up the eyes. You can see though that because of shooting through glass, the lines aren't exactly sharp on the line here. There is, especially to the right, a little bit of ghosting, especially along the back there. So it's not the most incredible image, but it's still a usable image. And sometimes shooting through glass, you've got to decide if you're going to keep an image even if something's not 100% perfect, because you're taking these photos in a split second, and to get a photo like this again with this cub stood on this rock with some flowers there and everything, a nice bit of light coming from the left hand side, isn't going to happen that often. So made a decision to keep this one here, but you have got to look at the the bigger picture with some of these shooting through glass images. Now the final image, again shot through glass. This is showing you how lucky you can be, even shooting at a 45-degree angle away from the glass, with eye tracking again. As you can see, spot on the eyes. Great moment here. Just finished feeding, popped his head over mum's rear leg, and just looked straight at the camera. And when I took these photos, I was like, I'm at 45 degrees, I'm not near the glass, there's no way in hell this photo's going to be in focus or even usable. But I took the photos anyway, came back and was very pleasantly surprised that they came out as good as this. I've got a load more different photos like this in the same location, all 100% in focus. So very happy with that. And this photo's in here to say sometimes you can follow the rules, sometimes you have to break the rules, take the risk. Because if I tried to move and try to get in focus with the amount of people that were there, I was going to get in trouble with someone, get an argument. I just took the risk, took the photos, and went, if I get something, I get something. And this is the image I got. So sometimes you got to take the risk, and it will work out, and you will be rewarded. But where you can, try and get those face-on photos with the glass, and you won't get any glare at all. Now, the images we've just seen then gone through, shot on a variety of different mirrorless cameras, mainly through the R6. Some of them are through the R7. I haven't had a chance to take out the R6 Mark II yet to see how that focusing system works slightly differently to the R6. But as you can see, you can very quickly miss things if you're not careful. Now, the wire photos and stuff was taken with the 100-400 L lens Mark II, and some of them as well were taken with the 200-400. So both the higher end fast focusing lenses, not native mirrorless, but still lenses that I find work incredibly well with the mirrorless system. And you can still miss those shots. You do need to make sure, especially with mirrorless, that you have spot focusing usually enabled. I have that programmed on a secondary button. So on the back of all my mirrorless cameras, I have what's usually the focus point selector. I have that spot focus, and then AF on is what I have animal tracking. So I spot focus, and then I track the animal. Sometimes even that doesn't work. Sometimes what I've had to do is almost manually focus the lens. So pull that ring round until you see the animals in focus, then press the spot focus, then go on to animal tracking if I want to do it that way, or keep on spot focus if I'm finding a lot of issues. But you are able to, there is ways of doing that. And what I have found is, out of the two cameras I shoot with shooting through wire, the R7 is actually the better camera to shoot through wire. I'm not sure if that's because of the crop it's got built into it, so you are already naturally slightly further along, or something else to do with that. Also, lenses that are f2.8 naturally focus better through wire because you've got that shallower depth of field. So my 300mm is really good shooting through wire. The 400mm would probably be very good as well. 7200 is a little bit too short, so you would need to start at that 300mm ideally, but you can still get through over 7200. You just might have some residue of the wire through the photo that you have to prepare yourself for. Now, shooting through glass, that's an issue that's been ongoing. Even with DSLRs, you had the issue with shooting through glass, especially if they're double pane glass you're shooting through. But what I find is I seem to have a few more misses now with mirrorless, and I'm not sure if that's because the focusing system is so much more clever that it's constantly trying to keep the focus, and it's just missing it, thinking it's focused, not focused, and then keeps changing it until you do get some shots. Because they're so fast though now, you do usually even out of if you shoot 20 in a row with it focusing, you'll get 5 maybe that are in focus, depending on the glass. There's some glass that they use in zoos in the UK that have a blue tint in them, which is really irritating and makes it almost impossible to get a sharp photo through them. But with the majority of them, keep yourself straight on, as possible, and you need to be as close to that glass as possible too. If you're far back from the glass, what you're going to find is that if someone next to you is wearing a red coat, red t-shirt, you're going to get that reflection in there. You're going to get glare from the sun if the sun's behind you. You're going to get shadows. You want to be pressed up as possible to that glass, so you're basically covering yourself. And you can buy rubber lens hoods, and I've seen some gigantic ones that are like this big, which is a little bit extreme for a zoo and a little bit antisocial, but you can get smaller ones, get them on there. It gives you the ability to be able to turn slightly as well and still get that protection from any glare. But always priority, make sure you can get as close as physically possible. Sometimes that is impossible and you have to shoot from further back. I've had to do that before and just hope for the best. There's sometimes as well that I've had to shoot at an angle, and one of the Lion Cub photos there is shot at a 45-degree angle through the glass, but it was a single pane glass. Luckily, even though there were people there, the sun was away, it was raining, so I had no issues of glare from that side, no reflections from any people there, and I was able to just shoot straight through at the cub. So what I'm trying to say from this video mainly is perseverance is very key. You are going to miss a ton of photos taking photos of zoos. I think personally it's harder than some wildlife situations, unless you're shooting birds and stuff which are at high speed flight. If you're taking photos, say, of a tiger wandering across you in the wild, it's there in front of you, you've got no obstacles, you can just take a photo. Most zoos in the UK, tigers going to have something in front of them, if that's wire or glass. You're very unlikely, apart from Chester where you can shoot over the fencing, you're going to have some obstacle in the way you're going to have to shoot through. And if it's a really sunny day and they've got silver wire, you can basically write off any photos you're going to take, because they're just going to get pure reflections off that silver wire and you're going to get no photos at all. So look at the situations, persevere, do what you can do, it's the best you can do, and just accept that you are going to miss a ton of photos. And it just means next time you've got to come back, you've got to try and do it again. If you're constantly missing photos that you think you should be getting, then maybe check your settings, make sure your spot focus is working, make sure you're standing in the right places, make sure you've got people next to you that are causing reflection, make sure you're not wearing something bright that is causing reflection in front of you, because that's happened before to a few people I know. Wear darker, muted colours, that will help reduce any reflection you're going to get from yourself. But it is just very frustrating sometimes. So I think the cleverer these cameras get, which is great for wildlife photography, because all these features they have on there are purely, as people have said, as I said at the start of the video, these cameras aren't designed to shoot through glass, aren't designed to shoot through wire, they're designed to shoot animals in the wild. But we all shoot at zoos. If you're a wildlife photographer, I can guarantee you, even pro photographers, wildlife photographers go and shoot at zoos from time to time. So, hope you enjoyed the video. It's something a bit different to what I would usually do. Let me know in the comments your experiences shooting at zoos. Any tips that you've got, put down in the comments for other people to view. And as always, if you want to share your photo galleries, by all means pop them in the comments as well. I enjoy looking at them when they do come through, and I enjoy looking through your photos. So please subscribe, comment, like as you always do, and I will catch you in the next one. See you again soon. Goodbye.